there a car outside of your...
Recording is on.
Welcome to DXgov discussion, governance discussion for March 10th. There is a delivery truck that is idling outside my apartment, if that's the sound you hear. Starting first with the proposal roundup, and kind of the proposal roundup now, we do have mainnet and now XDAI, and I think this week is really like the first week you can see that the mainnet proposals need to are kind of declined. I think so. Right now we don't have too many worker proposals. There's some kind of legacy ones, one from Roy, and then there is a 100 ETH to XDAI base proposal. So this would be to earmarked for XDAI base, and it's up to XDAI base. They could kind of use the funds how they would see, but since all of the last proposals and funding XDAI have been in DAI or XDAI, this is one to put some WETH in the treasury there. And then an exciting proposal is, which I boosted yesterday, is updating Swapper.eth to Alpha 3 release of Swapper. So a lot of cool updates in there. Smart routing, eco routing, XDAI, and so yeah, a lot of great things there. So presumably that will boost in 1 hour, and then it'll be 7 days until that will launch. But you can access the product now, or the deployment now, because it's from the proposal text, and it does, the smart routing feature is like really great because you're basically just accessing everything on SushiSwap and Uniswap, so you can do a trade like right from there. I did it yesterday too, so it's a really cool feature, so that's exciting. And then the last one or kind of the two others, there's a requesting 5,000 DAI back to DXgov Treasury. This is from the liquidity relayer that was being tested. And yeah, that's it for mainnet. And I actually just put in another, I don't know if people have seen this, I just put in another proposal for a treasury diversification one because we hadn't done these in a couple days. And that should be boosted. I think I may have skimped a little bit on the gas price, but that would be 100 ETH transfer to USDT. And so that's it for mainnet. I don't know if anyone had any thoughts maybe on the Swapper release or any of the other mainnet proposals. Cool. And then on XDAI base, so there are rep boost syncs for a couple of different people. Snoofkin, who's been very active in the Discord, saying a lot of good things, and then Caden and Violet and Skymine. So I think Caden and Sky are the only ones that are doing like the matching the full mainnet amount. I think Violet's is a little bit lower than his actual one, and I think the same thing is true for Snoofkin. But just, kind of as an update from last week, we were discussing about like, how XDAI rep and mainnet rep like intertwines, and I think the further we get away from it, I think we're the heuristic of anyone who has mainnet rep can claim the same amount on XDAI rep. I think that holds pretty well. A little feedback there. So yeah, I think that this will hopefully be, these are a couple of proposals now. I know there's another one from Venki that's doing the rep boost, but and then Cabello, but I think like everyone should be requesting their mainnet rep amount on XDAI whenever they need to, whenever they want. Sky, you had some thoughts on the Cabello rep boost?
So I guess rep boosts, which are 0.1%, we had been doing those on mainnet, and now there's a couple people claiming their rep boosts. Well, we had someone claim it like 2 times on mainnet, like they had a backlog of, they had 2 rep boosts, so they claimed them both at the same time. But then I guess Cobello is claiming it on mainnet and XDAI at the same time, but he's doing the calculation based off the rep in each DAO, when really, I think even for the rep boost, he should get 1%, or sorry, 0.1% on mainnet, and then use that same number, the same logic that we're talking about, to do it on XDAI as well. But he used a lower number on XDAI. But
just as a
people
late
don't
breaking news, I just literally saw my screen pop up that someone just boosted it like 30 seconds ago. But I agree in general. The denominator for all rep awards at this point is mainnet rep. And we can just use that. And because we're kind of like, I think the way I'm thinking, we're like populating XDAI, right? We're kind of already existing and we're kind of like moving there. And so we need to like populate it with the rep holders and contributors and DXgov members that are like active. And we do that by referencing the mainnet rep. So I think that, I think the Snoofkin actually also had the same thing. I think that he actually used like the different denominator. And I think that's just because like this process we've kind of been, it's taken us a little while to figure out, but I feel pretty confident that using the mainnet rep denominator is the way forward, even for rep boost.
Yeah, if it's because it's confusing to people because it's unclear right now. But if you're gonna do claim on both, like instead of saying like on XDAI use the mainnet like total amount, you could just say whatever you have on XDAI, I'm sorry, whatever you have on mainnet, just make sure you have the same number on XDAI. So it's not like you're doing 2 separate calculations. You're literally doing one calculation and then you're copying the same number on XDAI.
Yes, that's for existing rep holders. And I think that makes complete sense. It's like the amount of rep on mainnet, literally the number amount, like 30,000, 20,000, 10,000, you copy that amount and request that amount on XDAI.
But for a rep boost, it's the same. So these are new rep boosters. They're really supposed to get their rep boost on mainnet, which they did correctly, and then they just need to copy that number to top it up on XDAI.
Yeah. It's just, I mean, it's confusing because of course, like we're using this 0.1%. And I think like we just kind of, I think we just need to be clear about that. I had some other thoughts on XDAI in just a second, but I want to just get through. So then just a couple other ones. There are worker proposals. I've done my worker proposal. Federico's worker proposal's gone through. There was another one that went through it before, and then Pulp's is up there now. And then actually Venky's proposal is there, but I think he requested XDXD, which actually isn't in DXDAO anyway, and that needs to be vested, so that proposal will eventually clear out. And then the last kind of proposals on XDAI are actually 2 proposals to add a bunch of tokens to the XDAI token list for Swapper. And so this is, I actually pulled like 20 tokens that are on XDAI with the most liquidity that have been popularly traded on HoneySwap there. And so that will pass, actually, I think before the mainnet proposal, which will update swapper.eth to the alpha v3 release. And so then you'll be able to have swapper.eth on XDAI with a token list. And we should be pretty aggressive, but we should definitely be consistently adding tokens to this list. And it's also maybe an opportunity to engage communities in order to be added, whether they want to submit the proposal themselves or just do some kind of interaction off of getting added to the token list. But yeah, that's all that's right now on XDAI. And then I just wanted to share my screen for a second. So I know that this has been kind of confusing, and we're trying to make it as simple, as clear as possible. And so I have started this proposal guide, like how to do a proposal guide that's specific to XDAI. So Tammy had done this before for just a regular worker proposal guide, but since things are a little bit different, I posted this in the docs, actually, the post that Keenan did on docs, because I think this would be a great place to sit there. I hope this is, explanatory, self-explanatory, but the initial process is the same, right? You're just going to Alchemy. It's the same initial process in terms of going to the funding and voting power scheme, and then being able to click a new proposal. And then this is some explanation on kind of how you get the calculation for the things for it. I did want to ask, the one thing that I think was missing, we had talked last week that instead of having individuals calculate the 0.1667% amount themselves, as we had before, that we will have a monthly amount for each worker. For all workers, that captures that 0.1667%, and then we will adjust that every month. My question is, like, where and how should that snapshot, I guess, live? Like, I can imagine that we say, like, on the first of every month, like, I don't know, we make probably not a proposal, but like just like a DAO Talk post saying that this is the amount that people should request this month, or how should we alert people to the monthly rep award amount for that particular month? Any thoughts?
So this, I guess, also logic could be applied to rep boosts. Like when a rep boost happens, instead of saying you get
Right.
0.1%, you just get this number on XDAI and on mainnet. But for me, the percentages are very clear. I don't like it. The percentages seem easier than like someone has to go find an individual number somewhere off a table for each month, right? Like where would that sit? It has to sit on a document in the docs, and it has to be a table, and there'll be a different number for each month, right? And then you could go back and you could look, oh, I need to claim for those 2 months. Here's my 2 numbers.
I guess the thing is, it's just then it's for everyone the same. How else it depends at which time you ask the chain how much token. So it depends on when you look it up, and in a way this is strange because it's some raise condition. But I guess I did sometimes because I looked it up on chain, and in a way it's only you can ask the chain, and maybe somewhere there's like a binding for Google calculate, where you can just give in a date and then it gives you back the number. So maybe it's possible to make like a formula who then just spits it out for every first of the month. I did some API. I once had a script where you can pull information from CoinGecko API, and it's easy to do in a way if there's like an API to ask. I can do it or help with this if
yeah, I mean, I guess there would be, because I know you can do it on Etherscan, but in that case, are you saying, like, I guess the question still remains, like, if we do these monthly awards, and I actually agree with Sky that if we do it for contributor awards, we should just do it for rep boosts. Like, how do we? I'm thinking more about how we present that. Where does that live? Is it in like just the Google sheet, and we just like people go there and they see
The
what
best would have it on a public page in a way, integrated to a website, to our website.
Yeah, I think it would be on our docs page, and it would be in the worker section, and there would be a table, and that table needs to be updated every month, and it's just
Yeah, or
literally
it updates
month and a
itself.
number.
The best way would that it just generates for itself, but then you have to look it up. That's true, but otherwise you have to calculate them, and it's the same. You maybe you're used to it, so it's easy for you.
I have
What's
I have
calculated percentage? I mean, how hard it is?
it's
the number you calculate the percentage over it, and that's it.
okay. It's remember, people come from zero knowledge about this to requesting a payment the first month, right?
It's calculated percentage. I mean, if you cannot calculate the percentage, you should be working here.
Okay, maybe I should quit then. I didn't do it for a couple of months, so, and same with a lot of other people. It's not about not knowing about this. It's just the UI of Alchemy doesn't tell you, is it the percentage I should put in or is it a number? So I didn't do anything because I want my payment. I don't want anything to block my payment. So I think it's the same for a lot of people. It's just you having one shot and you don't want to mess up, so you skip it. So that's my feedback.
In my
That's
opinion,
from the Eminem song.
But bigger reason why we need fixed values, because if you don't submit a proposal for 2 months, that rep that you would have requested 2 months ago is now worth more. You will get more rep at the end. So because as more people submit proposals, there is more rep, and percentage is not the same. Like 2 months ago. So I think it will be good to have one amount, and it will be more fair, in my opinion.
Well, the rep token, it has a snapshot feature, which means that we can get the reputation at a certain time. For example, at the first block of each month. So the first block of each month, we update the value that is going to be used for the rep over the following month. I don't know, but yeah, we can provide the value like that if we want, but that's it. I think that we shouldn't go further than that, or maybe at least even provide instructions how to fetch the reputation at the moment where you were working for DXgov. Again, it shouldn't be that hard.
I'm thinking about two things. Either we add another thing, another layer of things you need to do the proposal, or we solve it. We solve it with the worker dashboard. We're already doing the thing with the, I don't know the name, the firm. They should do the DXD contract thing, and maybe we could build another component where it's only it's a template to make your payment, and that place you actually put in the percentage and it calculates for you. Just make it fail safe, right? So right now it's not. It's confusing.
Yeah, and I guess I don't know if we can do anything to make it less confusing besides doing a dashboard or something. And I know we're just kind of getting started, but I think that is the ultimate or the destination we need to end up. And so I guess for now, I just want to make sure, or we can, I think at least for workers here or contributors here, this will be a slightly confusing process in terms, but we hopefully all of us understand how it works, but we need a better long-term solution, and I think that is accomplished through the dashboard.
Yeah, I agree. So one thing just to get back on is I think it would be wise for DXgov to invest in a HR person. It doesn't need to be a super expensive one. Doesn't need to be like a level 5 person, but someone taking care of onboarding, offboarding, monthly payments, and just someone take care of us, right? Removing that headache or stress each month and following up why something is not posted or if something's wrong. I think that kind of person is needed, and I would say it's an investment. We would save money doing this because our time is money, and we're spending a lot of it doing mistakes or postponing stuff. So yeah,
Definitely, I agree.
But I also just like to end the discussion. I agree with Chris about. I think we waited for DAOstack to provide us value, and now we really need to take everything in our hands now and make sure that we provide newcomers and even ourselves just like a fucking easy experience to sync up this rep. The governance dashboard needs to be able to check mainnet rep and then just like sync up, and it should just be a button, right? It's not that hard. And also like hard coding the defined rep amount per full-time worker is also not that hard. So we just need to get that stuff built.
Yeah, and we kind of started that process, but we're just like, it takes a while to catch up to that. But we have the things that we're building internally ourselves.
So why not like set a fixed amount of rep in a number in the worker compensation guidelines?
Well, you can, because rep inflates. So, I mean, this will be unfair for future workers, because they're going
you
to
can update the number each 6
Yeah,
months.
we should update the number. I guess updating it every month.
You update the number at the beginning of every month. We just need that number written in a table on a website that people can go look at the website, look at the month, and take the number.
I can do it.
If we wanted to make it an Airtable, we have Airtable functionality on the DocBook now, and that would be a good place for it.
So I'm hoping, and I sent this to your docs one. I would love to like kind of use this as an opportunity to like flesh out the docs section specifically to that, because like the guide that I just created, like that should live in the docs, of course, I think.
Yeah.
And then if it's like living in the docs, like what else could live in the docs there?
I have an idea of it's a really short-term stupid idea, but it works. So on Alchemy, we're showing tokens that we have, right? Can we generate a random token that just we send it to the DAO and we update, like the number will be in Alchemy, right? So if we send that non-valuable token with the exact amount that percentage is, then you have it in the interface. Just short-term stupid solution, but yeah. I don't know how we show.
I see what you're saying. You're saying. But then that would be like, we would, a lot of like scam tokens of like different increasing amounts from like month to month. Or I guess you would just send a little bit more of that.
Yeah, you could do manually, or you can have a what's called a rebasing token or whatever. But yeah, I mean, if you wanted to show in Alchemy, like you could do that, right? Because you have the DAO holdings, and we could just have a token called reference rep or something stupid, and we can burn it later on.
Yeah, I think it's over engineering. Let's just.
I mean,
it
takes 5 minutes to create the token and send that amount, right? But yeah,
I'm
sure.
not sure.
No,
Like,
I don't think it takes 5 minutes to.
Who's
create
gonna send it, and who's gonna stop someone else from sending more?
You're the creator of the token. What do you mean? Who can hold it?
I know,
Anyways.
but like,
Who's gonna send it?
you're basically saying like the person that's calculating it, the easiest way to tell everyone what the number is by creating a token and sending that amount to the DXDAO avatar so that it appears on the Alchemy UI. And I think like Geronimo's point is like that's just like a roundabout way of telling people how much they should be putting in there. Like when we can calculate it like ourselves, it's also somewhat expensive.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah.
Gas. I think at least we all understand at least what we're like, what we're trying to calculate, right? Like in terms of that, that's like at least pretty clear here. It's not a great experience, but I think as the standard of mainnet rep is the denominator we're using, and on anything at XDive or any rep boost of that, and like that's we're working on the medium term ways of fixing this. I think through like the dashboard and Alchemy updates, and I will update this in the docs and see if maybe we can have like a number or something there. But there were a couple rep boost. I think, that, as I said, Snoofkin and the Cobello that were using the XDI ones. So just from now on, like if anyone asks, just understand that it's like we're using the mainnet rep denominator. Cool. Next, Tammy, a little legal update. Just some things that we've been working on there. Oh, I can't hear you, but it looks like you unmuted yourself. Still can't hear you. Yeah, I can't hear you. Am I the only one?
No, I can't hear her either.
No. Just a quick next item, if for getting to this. I thought it'd be interesting, or I wanted to gauge whether, or I guess EIP 1559 is already in the, like the London update, but I wondered if it would be interesting for like DXDAO to like take a position on that, and like signal support. I mean, some of the miners are doing that, are doing it the opposite. But curious to know if some of the other projects I think have done this. But curious to know if that would be something interesting to people.
I mean, does someone really cares if we support or not?
Okay. Hey, can you hear
We
me
are
now?
not miners. We provide nothing to the network.
Okay, I'll just tell me when.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Geronimo, I think you mentioned something.
Like, I think it's very important that we, like the DXDAO is enjoying the security of Ethereum, and I think the DXDAO is responsible to make sure that the Ethereum network is like we're also part of, like, I think I consider the DXDAO as like a steward of the Ethereum network too, and like as soon as we make sure that we are also part of like decision making and like in terms of Ethereum upgrading, the better for us. And I think, yeah, we are part of the Ethereum community, and I think we should send out the signal.
I think it would be interesting purely as like something to discuss in the community. And it could even be something like we're sharing the Discord. And it also could be like a proposal. I think it should be an XDI signal proposal that could get some engagement from others, just as like kind of an internal discussion thing. So I might start a forum post on it. Cool, because I actually think it's a really interesting discussion. Like what Augusto, like I would love your perspective of like DXDAO should not take a stance or something like that. Is also, in a way like a stance or something on that. But cool. All right, Tammy, do you want to?
Yeah, sorry to interrupt. You can hear me now though?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, cool. Okay, so hi everyone. So now that I'm potentially switching in, depending on like the community, into more of like a general counsel role for DXDAO, there's just been some considerations about potentially like what my scope of like the role would be with you all in supporting just like the business and the product side of things. If questions come up, it's important that you know who I am and that you feel comfortable coming to me with questions regarding, setting up businesses in your specific jurisdiction. If you need help finding attorneys in your jurisdiction related to anything to do with DXDAO, that's something that I'm happy to help with. And then, of course, just like different product analyses, especially if something comes up that you're like wondering about, we can obviously always public with anything that we want to be public with, but just, loop me in on it if you think it's something that would be worthwhile. But with that said, I was talking with John and Chris when I first brought up the idea of just doing some different works regarding some of our projects. And the idea came up that we might want to retain outside counsel for like specific needs, if very specific questions come up that we need future help with. So just to like break that down, I did like a little, just very short little thing, presentation. Okay, obviously that's that. Okay, so the firm that I've spoken with is Polsinelli. Can everyone see it? Good, okay. The firm I spoke with is Polsinelli PC. They're like what we call like full service law firm. They have offices throughout the United States. They, can do basically anything we need, but I was interested in them because I have a professional contact there regarding crypto and fintech law. I actually worked with her on like a law review article regarding the subject, and she's an associate there. And she's her name's Fiammetta, good person, actually Italian, randomly, so a bit of an international flair for our Italians out there. But the main focus is that they can do fintech, corporate law, securities, venture capital. The attorneys that I've spoken with are one, Fiammetta is based in Los Angeles. The two others are based in New York and Miami, kind of splitting time as like a lot of people are right now with COVID. So basically, if there's a very specific question that comes up that I feel like we need like a very specific expertise on, that, or if something comes up in the future that we need some sort of person to contact for whatever reason, for like regulatory compliance or something like that, we have attorneys on retainer is what we call it. So the retainer for their like startup program, which is what they consider us, is a $5,000 retainer, and it's billed at an hourly rate. So that means we, DXDAO, would pay $5,000 to kind of have these attorneys on call if we have questions, and then they basically track their time on an hourly rate. And they are very specific about it. It's like every 6 minutes they bill. The rates, of course, can be somewhat expensive. Hopefully I can do most of it through the associate if I need to use the attorney for anything. Her rate is like approximately, I think, like $380 an hour. And then the partners, it's closer to like 700, I think. So the idea is we have them available, and then scope of work would be basically I would be the in-between contact with them on behalf of DXDAO as like a general counsel to just answer questions regarding legal structure compliance issues that may come up during DXDAO's business. And then, of course, any like future compliance issues, we have attorneys that we can use if something comes up for anybody. So that's pretty much it. And yeah, and this is their website. So you can like look them up however you prefer, but I can also drop the link. And yeah, just want to get feedback on what folks think about having an attorney, more of like a full service firm on retainer for specific needs that we might have.
The $5,000 is like an ongoing thing. Like you pay them that, and then once you use it, then you top it up, or is it like per month?
Ongoing. If you use it, you can top it up, or you can terminate the legal representation. So if we realize we don't really need them for anything, or if we're, say we actually never use them for anything, which, we're a complex organization, I expect there will be things that come up. They would have to like return the $5,000 if we never use them for anything. We terminated representation.
I would love.
Oh, I think you cut out, Augusto.
Oh.
It sounded exciting too.
No, I was like,
I want to know what you.
But I did miss the week, I think, the discussion. What's the role of a general counsel? How is it?
so usually
For me, I don't know this
Yeah,
I don't know
of
if it
course.
exists in Europe, this kind
I
of
think
role.
it does. It does. So it's like it's just they handle all legal strategy issues for big companies or or small companies as well.
Okay.
So, issues that people have, we have very specific issues, but, everything from like regulatory compliance and making sure that the right filings happen with the right governmental bodies. Or in our case, we have like all these issues with where to basically create limited liability companies for a lot of our contributors. That's one thing that, if you have questions about, I can help research it. Or if it's like really specific issues that you need help with, I would help you get in contact with an attorney to kind of set that stuff up in your jurisdiction, meaning like in Switzerland or in Sweden or wherever. That was a point that John brought up that I think was causing a lot of people's stress. And then there's just, we are,
Yes.
we're just in a new age of fintech here. So things may come up, just questions that we have, and we want to do things kind of the ethical way, or we want to, kind of understand what like the scope of the new norm is. And in those circumstances, I would look into them. But then still, that's not, still what I've been doing, which is Omen token or whatever strategy or governance particular stuff that comes up that I would work with Chris on. And
I think we need this because it's really a lot of questions are coming up for new joiners, I guess, mostly. How to do it best, and some just don't act, just wait. But I think it's going to blow up at some point, and then you maybe have legal troubles. So people should really try to fix it, and it's not so easy to do. I'm now setting up my company, but I had a company before, so it's like easy for me. But I think if you don't have anything to do with this, it's great to have somebody you can ask questions.
And just ideas like mostly like funnel your specific questions, but then also stuff for like the DAO in general. Just try to like look out for the best interests of the DAO to keep our longevity, and we don't want to be
also from myself as I try to recruit people. I think it really limits our talent pool if you can't fix it in a good way. This kind of question. Because for some it's very scary in a way, because I don't think you can legalize everything. It's not possible, I guess. Some part of what we are doing is just gray area, but you can limit it you can lower the risk in a way, I guess.
I mean, we are 15 people working for DXgov. We integrated, I don't know, like maybe 10 workers in the last 10 months. So difficulties presented, but we are doing great. And again, what you are seeing as a blocker to get some people on board, I see it as a filter that really the ones who have the values are there, the tools are there if you want to get it, if you want to work in DXgov. So do we really need lawyers to help us? I think we have been doing just fine without them. I mean, of course, it's a great resource to have, but do we really need them? And again, are we failing if we are using lawyers in a purely decentralized organization, an anarchist organization that I always saw that we were going to be? I think like start using lawyers and start merging ourselves with the real world will be like,
Yeah, I understand you very well, Augusto, because for me personally, it's not such a question. But I did see, others do it, I just, maybe it's not really good compare, but sushi, every new worker, they provide like 10K to solve their legal issues. And in a way, that's the market we play. So we don't want maybe people who want to join sushi, but in a way, yeah, it's not, yeah.
I mean, for them, go and work for sushi. I mean, again, we integrated 10 workers in the last 6 months. So I think we are doing great without lawyer. And again, I think that is a bit contradictory about I always saw it as an anarchy way, as a very anarchist organization. And again, start working with or trying to get some legalization in the real world will be going the other way. Or start merging ourselves with something that we don't really want. Because as soon as you get some legal representation, you get legally exposed. Right now, we are not legally exposed to anywhere because we don't have any legally, we don't have any bank account, any
I agree somehow, but also I guess in a way it will going to change. And now in Switzerland, nobody cares about what I'm doing, I guess. But I don't know if it's the same 10 years ago, 10 years later, and everything is on chain. So you can afterwards, you can see everything you can force me to reveal my identity and my addresses, and then you will see which money flow I got from DXgov. And this is my main concern is only like forward looking, not right now, but I think these concerns are real, and it depends on which place you live. I think that even now, if you think about doing token sale, and I did read the thing about BitMEX lately, and the main thing they go after him is one reason is because he didn't respect the UN sanction list. So I don't know if I don't care about this because I never will go to jail in Switzerland if I'm not respecting the US sanction list. But I don't know how these kind of things are handled in America, maybe the US, because you are on a team. You talk to people who want to sell token, and then you don't limit your interface. It's stupid at the end, But this kind of question, in a way, I think also it's not about not being naive, because as long as nobody's coming after you, it's easy to say, yeah, it's cool. We are decentralized organization. We don't have liabilities. But if things are changing, then you should, how to say it, be prepared. So preparement doesn't mean that you should not do it, but you should think how you can do it in a smart way that you can say, yeah, you're not responsible for it or whatever, however it is. So that's just my point. It's just different.
Yeah, Augusto, the DXgov is protected because it's like untouchable from the state, but the humans who are providing value to the DXgov are not untouchable and are like completely exposed if we don't have someone who's taking care of them legally.
I think it's
okay. Again, but seems like something. For example, if you want to defend someone who is working for DXgov and the DXgov is paying the lawyers to defend the worker, but the worker shouldn't, let's say that one of your best defenses is saying that, hey, it's not me that I'm working for DXgov, but you are suddenly being defended by, a lawyers that are being paid by the very organization that you say that you are not working with, or that you are trying to respect your privacy or your anonymity of your contributions. So again, it's like, it might be because I think I won't need it, but again, I'm not against it. I'm just saying out loud what I think, and that I think in some ways it contradicts our, I think, anarchist way of working. That's it. But it's not that
I agree.
If you guys need it, if our workers need, and everyone is better with them, of course, awesome, let's do it. But I don't agree with. I want. It's not that I won't. I will vote against it, but yeah, I was pressing that.
Augusto, you're saying we onboarded a lot of workers and everything is fine, but everything is not fine. Like there's some stuff you don't know in the background that we are working on. I'm not getting paid legally. I'm keeping my payment to the side, and I'm trying to find a way where I can actually get the money to Sweden, to my bank or whatever, so I can live normally without getting flagged or most probably do something illegal. And in Sweden, it's not that easy.
Yeah, I can say this is the same for me. Like I haven't made any like fund request proposals just because I can't. Like I have no idea how to treat this, and yeah, I'll have to figure it out.
So there is still some question marks. There's still some uncertainty and stress from workers. I would love to get some answers and not live every month with the stress of I'm not getting paid legally.
And that's why we are lucky to have Tammy.
Yeah.
You know, Augusto, I completely understand where you're coming from. And I actually, when I started working here, I wasn't really working as an attorney, but that is just my professional background. And so I have all of these, as my partner described them, you know, I have ethical obligations to keep my license up to date and all these things. So when certain questions came up and I felt like, oh, I'm kind of filling in this role where it's a bit pseudo legal, I felt like, you know what, I have to, you know, say who I am and kind of, you know, either open up to that or, you know, stay anonymous and just kind of stick to doing like more governance work. But I think that your concerns are real. This is like this is a new area of finance and tech. And I think the idea is to respect that as much as possible, but help people do things in a way where they don't feel uncertain about, you know, how they're going to get their paycheck and stuff like that. And then also just keep the longevity of DXgov going strong, because we're pretty I would say, compared to a lot of organizations, pretty upstanding and like want to do things ethically. And that's definitely going to just help everyone continue like working on the products they want to work on. But that's all I'll say, I guess, at this point. And yeah, thanks.
I don't know, like, do you guys think like if some government wants to, you know, fuck us up, do you guys think that like they will first go after individuals or after you guys that have like LLCs? Like I think they will go first. Those.
Violet. They'll be like, Violet is the ringmaster.
Yeah, so the thing is here, and I think like this was mentioned, but you know, first they're going to go for these LLCs and for these corporations and whatnot. But because everything is on the blockchain, because everything is transparent, and because everything, like they could just look at this at some point with, you know, someone's going to develop the technology to figure out all these transactions, who they belong to, and tie them to individuals, just because a lot of governments are going to be losing a lot of tax money because of it. So like, it's reasonable to assume that at some point in the far future, might be 10 years from now, like, I don't know, they'll come to me and say, oh, you got paid by this organization. This is the work you've done, and you've never paid taxes for it. So yeah.
Yeah.
We're forgetting one big thing here. Where did DXgov get the money from? Like there's trails before, like where the money came from, right? We don't block wallets or countries, or we don't do KYC. I'm just saying, like there could be ways we can, as people, get fucked, not organization.
Yeah, also, side note, I think someone posted this in our legal channel. Wyoming actually is working on passing a bill for DAOs. It's like very antithetical to the DAO concept in a way, which is kind of funny if you think about it. But government bodies are like learning what DAOs are and stuff, and they're trying to, basically work in ways to, of course, cover for things like taxation and stuff like that. And like it's a balance of being a new age decentralized organization and like what that means and the implications of that, and that but also respecting and like being ethical and how we go about stuff. That's it.
Yeah, and it's so powerful that everything is controlled by the DAO. Right. There's no and so regardless of the kind of things we're doing to try to help people's legal issues, the core structure and tenets of DXDAO living on Ethereum, having an on-chain treasury that we all coordinate around, that's impossible to change. And that's such a powerful thing.
Yeah, and also we can quickly make sure that we are less and less attackable on the individual level, by making sure we are very open to newcomers, very open to new LLCs, because the more LLCs are working for the DXDAO, the more difficult is it to point out who is in control, because none of those LLCs is actually in control, and it's pointless to attack one LLC, because the worst case that can happen is they will burn their rep and then they will leave, but nothing will change.
Decentralization path.
In a way, it's also a success problem, as long as we are not successful, or as we just right now, we don't have a lot of visibility because we don't have many products out there, but we will grow and we will be much more visible, I think, in the future. And then normally, you can, if you want to make some pressure in this direction, or the politics makes pressure in this direction, you take the most prominent ones out, because then you have this signal, for everyone that it's dangerous and you shouldn't do it. And you can't do it. You can't go after everyone. So you take the most prominent ones normally. I think that's also what they're doing with BitMEX in a way, because you take the big players out first. So we are not a big player right now. So I guess there's no risk right now, but maybe we will be a big player in the future, and then it will be different. But maybe the history is anyway, I think on the long run, the history is on our side, and then there's no problem at all, I guess.
Yeah, I think this is an evolving industry, and I think that everyone here wants to build DeFi products. It's not that crazy or scary, it's all we're all acting in a way where it's just to be smart and be ethical and to go about things in a transparent way for the community and do the best we can for the DAO. So as long as that's the direction, when people have questions about how to figure out their taxation issues and their legal issues, we just need to get people in contact with the right professional services to ease those stress factors and just do what you can to get paid, all that kind of stuff. So that's hopefully the goal. Or that's my goal is that, and then obviously just continue working on Omen token and all this other interesting stuff we have going on. So yeah.
Cool. Yeah, so maybe we'll look for proposal or a forum post on that specific to the Pulsadeli stuff too. Cool. And then the last thing to mention, just want to briefly mention that Dave submitted a DAO Talk post for a worker scope for the Treasury accounting manager position. It's I think a 20-hour post, and Dave's been doing some good work on just pulling a lot of the information we have and trying to figure out how we present the DXdAO's growing asset base as it moves to XDAI and elsewhere. So excited to be working with Dave. So Dave, I don't know if you had any thoughts or.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, just getting started. So I'm also, if any of you guys have any suggestions to where to get data from, right now I've just been scanning from the Etherscan API, but it's not that full-fledged, the data they provide. So, I mean, worst case, we just run a node and get data from there. But yeah, just, as Chris said, getting started, gathering the data and starting to do a little bit of accounting, which I think has been overdue for a while.
Cool. And to close things out, John, do you want to tell us how you managed to? You've had the meeting at the same time for this meeting.
I don't know. I just lost track of time.
I wasn't sure if this is the whole daylight savings time because there was some the UTC difference. Do we have to do anything for that, Sky, or what's the? Because it's this weekend, right? Is daylight savings time?
We should. I changed in the calendar, so it should be correct. So if you go to the Google Calendar, just follow it, and whatever it says for your country, follow it. Sky, do you wanna it's complicated because some countries don't move time?
It's quite simple.
Yeah, go ahead.
The U.S. changes this weekend, but we're not doing anything based off a U.S. change. Berlin and Europe and whatever changes in 2 weekends later, right? So twice per year we're going to change the UTC time that we do the meeting so that everyone's local time stays the same, except for Augusto in Argentina. He gets the bad deal, right? But because US and Europe don't change daylight savings at the same time, they change 2 weeks apart, I think. We're gonna make this UTC change to make everyone stay at the same local time so that Elon and people in the edges can stay at their same local time. We're gonna make that change. It's already made on the calendar when Europe changes their daylight savings time. Just follow the calendar, though. I agree with Zed.
Or maybe DXdAO should just be anarchist and not respond to the time changes.
Dave,
we're all in Unix.
For a period of time, Dave, a period of time, we did use Unix timestamps, but people thought it was too complicated, even though it's pretty simple, that we stopped.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, daylight savings time. I'm really excited. I don't know about you guys, but whole extra hour of sunlight.
Didn't they just decide they're going to abolish it from next year in the US?
And people are talking about it. I think someone submitted a bill or something, and they should, or you all the switching around is really, really stupid. Actually, it ends up people end up being there's more accidents by truckers because they're tired in the spring because people lose an hour of sleep on the day after. So it's not a good system, but it's hard to change things.
Maybe we should also start planning a DXdAO offsite in Mexico or Morocco or something.
Love both of those.
I'm already there.
Scout it out.
Bariloche.
Bariloche is one of the best places on earth. Just that.
Is that where you want the offsite? Is that what you're saying?
And the furthest place from the most other places by flight.
Man, it's where you all want to be, the offsite. You just don't know it yet, but you want Bariloche.
Do you want to have it at Jiao Jiao?
Oh man, I don't think we have enough money to pay for Jiao Jiao, but yeah.
Of course
so
we do.
I think the offsite should just be a week before like one of the first conference that there will be for Ethereum. So, like, if that makes sense. So we don't like
this is the
fly.
We can't wait for Ethereum. We can't wait for ETH events because it's going to be like another year.
Let's wait until people calculate how bad we are for the environment. Have you heard like the whole NFT thing now? Like how much it costs?
NFTs are not bad for the environment. It's a false narrative. The blockchain is running no matter whether you create any NFTs or not.
Yeah,
and
you can't think like that because.
What do you mean?
The use cases of the blockchain makes the blockchain run. So if less people use the blockchain, less of the blockchain would be run, right?
No. Ethereum will be run. Ethereum will be run no matter what.
Okay.
The amount of mining capacity is directly proportional to the value of the currency for PO chains.
Yeah.
Okay, so you need to lower the price of ETH. You don't need to get rid of NFTs or DeFi.
Right. So you don't think NFTs or DeFi accrue value to ETH and therefore increase the mining capacity of the Ethereum network?
I just don't think that our logic makes much sense. And actually, like Bitcoin is actually super efficient. Like the miners gravitate to like the most efficient energy sources in the world, like Iceland and like thermal is normally energy that's just going into the air and getting wasted. It's being captured and put into the value of Bitcoin. Like
for those following at home, Sky's demonstrating how your bags can rationalize any perspective.
I just like saying that
the energy going to the renewables. That's like a valid argument, I think. But
they're all like weird dams in China. Like hydroelectric is.
It's also solar, like because the only thing you like basically the biggest cost to mine Bitcoin or for whatever proof of work is the cost of electricity. Then automatically, people are migrating or pushing renewable energy because that's the only difference. So, if you could make electricity the cheapest as you can, like in the middle of the desert with solar panels, or I don't know, next to a dam, then yeah, like why not?
Martin's got his proof of work as shit and should die.
Yeah, sorry, I really think this in a way. Of course, it's not. It's a great invention, Bitcoin, but the energy consumption is just, it shouldn't be.
But what's the energy consumption of all the banks and ATMs and, there's that argument as well.
For the value, I don't know. Yeah.
That's first of all, a lot less for like the banks. I know like you could use the argument creating a currency.
At sometimes it's outdated. It's an outdated technology. And then what happens with outdated technology?
And that was like what about political strategy from Nylon? Like, don't talk about banks. Let's talk about the issue Bitcoin is like putting out.
What is that, Jeremy?
It's like this. But what about something else? Let's rather talk about the issue, like the issue Bitcoin is actually putting out into the world, which is like wasting a lot of energy. Yeah, they might capture like natural locked up resources. Wow, but proof of stake is fixing it.
Augusto just drops out.
I think there's room for both.
Yeah, I think Bitcoin will be proof of work forever, but everything should be proof of stake. And like,
I don't see that Bitcoin is able to move to proof of stake.
Yeah, I don't think Bitcoin's moving to anything.
Okay.